Right now, an arrest is made 5 years after a hit and run in Beloit. Tonight, hear from a victim of that crash and what it means to him to see the man accused of causing his life-altering injuries behind bars.
Do the right thing. Give Quintez back his good name.
A final plea from Quintez Cephas and his attorney as the UW decides whether to readmit him.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. A Rock County man is in police custody after being on the Beloit Police Department's most wanted list for more than 5 years.
Adam Duxter explains how even though the suspect is in custody, the effects of what he allegedly did continue to make an impact.
Well, although Christian Witt can't remember what happened on the night of February 23, 2014, he says he'll never forget what it did to him. Now the person suspected to be responsible is facing the consequences for the first time.
At the intersection of Roosevelt and Moore, Christian Witt's life changed 5 years ago.
I guess we were on the way to the grocery store, Woodman's, and that's literally that's all I was told. I don't specifically remember why I was in the car. I mean, I was told I was going to the store.
Witt and his roommate Eric Pate were blindsided by another car going nearly 80 miles an hour. Although he's only heard this story through other people.
I actually don't remember any of it, but from that point on until probably roughly 3 weeks later, that's all kind of a blur.
Witt was taken to the hospital with a traumatic brain injury, while the driver of the other car left the scene. And while Beloit police have spent the next 5 years trying to find the suspect, Witt was left to deal with his injury and medical bills.
When the thing told me I was hit at 80 and the car flipped down the road, that's kind of reckless. I mean, that's not anything that was done on accident by any means. You know, it was strictly intentional.
5 years with no luck until today.
And are you Robert Henry Connor III?
When Robert Connor III appeared before a Rock County judge facing 2 counts of felony hit and run. Beloit police say just yesterday they got a call that Connor had been found in Columbia County, New York. Today he's held on $1,000 cash bond. And while it can't change what happened, Witt says it's a start.
Every time I pass the intersection, I always think, oh, that's where I was hit.
Now, obviously, this is just the start of Robert Connor's court process. He'll face an adjourned initial appearance this Friday at 3 p.m. at the Rock County Courthouse.
All right, a story we will continue to follow. Adam, thank you.
The trial will continue tomorrow morning for the man accused of driving under the influence of prescription drugs and crashing his semi into a school bus filled with middle schoolers. 42-year-old Wayne Murphy faces 10 felony charges for the May 2018 crash that injured 20 people. He pleaded not guilty. It happened on the interstate in Columbia County while the school bus was pulled over due to a mechanical issue.
Some strong storms just missed us today. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has our first alert forecast. Gary?
Yeah, you know, we were watching for the potential for not only severe weather, but for heavy rain, and everything has just shifted to the south tonight. You can see just a few light showers, plenty of clouds across Wisconsin, but all the thunderstorm activity has been farther to the south, not even showing any lightning from the showers that are out there across southern Wisconsin right now. High temperatures today were held down because of the cloud cover, mainly mid to upper 70s. Notice it was a little warmer to the north where there was some sunshine. High temperatures were in the 80s up toward La Crosse and Camp Douglas. But current temperatures are in the upper 60s to around 70. And notice the dew point temperatures, upper 60s to near 70. That means that fog may form overnight. Otherwise, look for cloudy skies overnight with showers, perhaps an isolated thunderstorm in some areas of fog. Tomorrow, we could see a few scattered showers or a thunderstorm in the afternoon. High temperature at 78. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Federal authorities have arrested a man they say purchased the body armor, AR-15 parts, and the 100-round drum magazine that the Dayton shooter used to kill 9 people and injured dozens of others. 24-year-old Ethan Colley was arrested on Friday on suspicion of a firearms violation unrelated to that shooting. A criminal complaint says Colley told federal authorities he purchased the items for shooter Connor Betts and then hid them in his apartment to hide them from his parents. However, attorneys say there is no indication that Colley knew he was helping Betts carry out that shooting. Authorities say a suspect is in custody after shots were fired outside a Chicago hospital this afternoon. Police say the man began shooting outside the Jesse Brown VA Medical Center and then tried to enter the lobby. Security officers apprehended the man near the entrance. Police say no one was injured, and authorities recovered a rifle that the man is believed to have used.
Former Badger football player Quintez Cephas and his attorneys are making their final plea to UW-Madison to readmit him before the fall semester starts. This follows Cephas's acquittal on sexual assault charges, the original allegations that led to his expulsion. Madeline O'Neill continues to follow this story for us. Maddie?
Cephas's attorneys say by not responding to last Tuesday's readmission petition, UW is effectively refusing his request to return to school. But the university says it's still obtaining necessary information to make its decision.
I am not angry at all.
After everything that's happened here, more than a year of dealing with sexual assault allegations that Quintez Cephas is now cleared of, you might wonder why the football player wants to return to Madison.
He is my blood brother.
Part of the answer may lie in the family he's found here.
We know each other inside and out. We truly are a family. The whole time I've had the support of my brothers and everybody who knew me.
Cephas and his former teammates are asking UW-Madison to hurry up and make a decision.
We expect a prompt correction of the wrong that has been committed against this young man. How much more damage has to be done to him? Come on.
7 players wrote to the chancellor asking for Cephas's readmission, saying by clearing his name, she would, quote, alleviate a racial tension felt by students.
Give Quintez back his good name.
Cephas's attorney, Steve Meyer, echoes that, asking UW to recognize and refute the stereotype he says permeated the criminal case.
That black men are sexually aggressive.
In a statement, UW-Madison says it was not provided all the relevant court records with Cephas's petition, saying, quote, we are working to gather this information currently and will complete our review of the petition as quickly as possible once we have it.
We sent them over 250 pages of exhibits, documents.
Cephas's attorneys worry that process will take months, longer than these Badgers want to wait.
We love to have him back. We welcome him with open arms. You know, it'd be like a relative coming back.
We reached out to campus groups, including a victim support group, to get more insight on what Cephas's return to the school might mean, but haven't heard back. UW-Madison refused an on-camera interview, but says in a statement that when reviewing petitions like this, it's important to remember its code of student conduct is separate from criminal law.
Investigators in Milwaukee County are working to determine if a body found in Lake Michigan yesterday is that of a teenager who is believed to have drowned last week. The body was spotted by bikers on shore around 4 yesterday afternoon. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office has not yet identified that individual. A 19-year-old disappeared last week while swimming in a park with some friends in Cudahy, but police have not yet made any connections. He would be the 29th person to drown in Lake Michigan this year. That's a more than 50% increase over 2018.
Investigators are still trying to determine how a fire in Fitchburg reignited last night, hours after it was initially put out. The fire was first reported around 7 o'clock on Burnlin Street. By 10:30, the attic fire was under control. But less than 4 hours later, an officer saw flames coming from the roof of the same house. Officials say the house is vacant and no one was inside at the time of the fires. Another close call on the north side of Madison as a stray bullet nearly hit several people, including a baby, this weekend. It happened around 4 o'clock Saturday morning at an apartment on Northport Drive. Police say the bullet went through the patio door, nearly hit the people sleeping in the living room, then got lodged in a wall. Just last week, a woman in another apartment complex on Northport Drive was grazed by a stray bullet that went through her bedroom wall and hit her bed.
A local dog owner is warning others to think twice before letting their pet swim in water. Christopher Chelly rushed his dog to the animal hospital after he started showing extreme symptoms of weakness, vomiting, and seizure-like behavior. Those symptoms started just hours after he swam in the lagoon at Tenney Park. The vet was able to save his life, but Larry did suffer severe liver damage and is still recovering. Chelly and his vet suspect blue-green algae could be the cause of Larry's illness.
I hope that we can find out if this is really bad enough water that it can kill a dog in one night.
Public Health of Madison and Dane County says the toxin in cyanobacteria can be especially harmful to dogs because of their size. They recommend not allowing pets near water that even looks like it could be contaminated.
People living on the north side can expect to hear and see the F-16 jets early tomorrow morning. According to the State Department of Military Affairs, a small number of F-16 fighter jets are scheduled to depart Truax Field between 1 and 4 a.m. in support of what they are calling worldwide contingency operations. The city of Milwaukee has given the green light to 2 more electric scooter companies to operate in the city. Right now, there are 350 Lime scooters in Milwaukee. Soon, 2 more companies, Spin and Bird, will each add 350 more, bringing the total to more than 1,000. This is all part of a pilot program to see how the new trend is handled in the city. The Department of Public Works says it will continue to collect data and monitor public feedback.
Madison native now holds the crown of Miss Black USA. 25-year-old Takima Ballantyne won that competition in Washington, D.C. last night. The Madison East High School grad and current nursing student at Madison College competed against 32 other contestants in categories including personal interview, talent, fitness, and evening gown. Pageants like this one are expensive, but she didn't let the cost stop her.
She drove there on her own. She didn't fly. She raised the money for gas. She was willing to sleep in her car to participate. She didn't have the money to purchase her dresses, and she asked the community to step up and to help. So we were glad at Boys and Girls Clubs to be one of many people that was willing to support her along this journey.
And she won the scholarship and now has a national stage to share her passions, which she's been doing here in Madison for a long time. As a member of the PATCH program, Providers and Teens Communicating for Health, at age 16, she started working to bridge the gap between providers and adolescent patients. Still ahead tonight, Governor Evers is sending a letter to President Trump. We'll tell you what he's asking of the president.
Plus, a special welcome as hundreds of kids head back to school today. Stay with us. Welcome back. Governor Tony Evers is urging President Trump to end his trade wars with other countries because they're hurting Wisconsin farmers. Governor Evers sent the president a letter today asking him to end the dispute. He says farmers in Wisconsin are suffering a triple whammy of trade uncertainty, low commodity prices, and bad weather. There are major changes on the way for the Endangered Species Act. The Interior Department announced the new rules will scale back regulations. The Trump administration says this will allow the focus to be on the rarest species, but environmentalists say the move could push more animals and plants toward extinction. The overhaul includes changing how federal agencies consider whether species and habitats qualify for protections. The new rules will more than likely be challenged in court.
The U.S. Travel Association says for a fourth year in a row now, fewer travelers are coming to the United States. According to the association, that drop in 14 million international visitors means nearly $60 billion that is not being spent here in the U.S. The U.S. Travel Association doesn't expect the numbers to get any better either. It has forecasted the downward trend to continue until at least 2022. Treasury Department says the federal budget deficit widened to $867 billion for the first 10 months of the fiscal year. That is a 27% increase from the same time a year ago. The current shortfall is greater than the full year deficit for fiscal 2018. A number of factors are at play, including the $1.5 trillion in tax cuts that President Trump signed into law in 2017, as well as a massive spending package passed by Congress.
It's only August 12th, 3 weeks before Labor Day, but several Milwaukee public school students headed back to class this morning. At Golda Meir School, students had a warm welcome, greeted by a drum line and cheering parents and staff. It is the first day for the early start schools, which include 43 of the 160 schools in the district. The first day for the remaining schools is September 3rd.
If school were in session, usually, you need those air conditioners, but you wouldn't really, not totally, right? We're looking at maybe low 70s.
It'd be pretty stinky in the
give
rooms.
it a positive spin here, Gary.
With all the humidity out there, I'm married to a teacher, remember? So
That's right.
I know what it's like in the classroom. But you're right, it's not as warm as it has been just because of the cloud cover. But take a look at current temperatures. They're still, even though we're only in the mid to upper 70s for high temperatures today, we're still in the upper 60s to around 70, and the dew point temperatures are very close to the temperature. So as the temperatures cool and the dew points stay the same, eventually the humidity gets to 100% when the temperature and the dew point are the same, so we start to see areas of fog form. Visibility is already down to a half mile in Monroe and Dubuque, Iowa. So the fog right now pretty patchy, but I think it'll become a little more widespread, hopefully not as thick and as dense as what we saw this morning. There have been a few showers. We haven't seen much in the way of thunderstorm activity over the last 24 hours across the state. Just the cloud cover has kept the atmosphere stable enough here. The severe weather has developed a little farther to the south across parts of central Illinois, where a tornado watch is in effect until 3 a.m. from just north of St. Louis over toward Indianapolis. That's where all the strong to severe thunderstorm activity has been. And the severe weather threat has been shifted quite a bit farther to the south, an enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms, including a few tornadoes, as well as some widespread wind damage possible with lines of thunderstorms that will move through central Illinois overnight. Now, tomorrow, the severe weather threat is actually just to the west of Madison. It's a marginal risk, not a big deal, but we could see a couple of stronger thunderstorms develop, mainly in the afternoon and early evening hours. Once the sun goes down, those storms will lose a lot of their punch, but they could bring some gusty winds and perhaps some hail. The time lapse from the WISC sky cam from early this morning, there's the guy wire from the tower that supports the camera, the widespread fog, very thick, and then eventually that lifted, but we saw cloud cover and some scattered showers for much of the day, but it just stayed pretty gloomy the entire day. That takes you all the way up through about 8:30 this evening. The live view from the Edgewater sky cam in downtown Madison showing mostly cloudy skies. There have been a few showers around. The almanac for today shows our high temperature reached 77 after starting out at 61 this morning, and right now our temperature is still at 71 degrees with cloudy skies, the humidity up to 90%, so fog may be forming pretty soon here in the Madison area. High temperatures were a little warmer in the northern part of the state where there was some sunshine compared to southern Wisconsin where the cloud cover was more widespread. Current temperatures now are right around 70 through much of the state. La Crosse still at 74 degrees, but you can see these showers through much of Wisconsin, pretty widely scattered. The strong thunderstorms have been developing down across parts of Illinois and back into Kansas where they had triple-digit heat today. You can see on the surface weather map, there's a stationary front and a warm front to our south. South of that front, take a look where the high temperatures were today. Mid-90s to triple-digit heat. Current temperatures are still in the 80s down there, and dew point temperatures are in the lower to middle 70s. Look at the dew point in Kansas City, 77 degrees. That is tropical, but Fortunately, the worst of the heat will stay to our south. For tonight, mostly cloudy skies, areas of fog, showers, perhaps an isolated thunderstorm, low at 64. For tomorrow, variable cloudiness. It'll be mild and humid with showers, perhaps a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high temperature at 78. On future track, just widely scattered showers tonight, maybe a thunderstorm at some point. Low temperatures in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, we could see a shower or thunderstorm chance, especially in the afternoon if we see some breaks in the clouds with highs in the upper 70s. Tomorrow night, look for a few scattered showers, low temperatures in the lower 60s. Wednesday, more cloud cover and northeasterly winds will keep high temperatures in the lower 70s. Again, scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Rainfall amounts a quarter to a half inch. Some places could be a little bit more than that if you get caught underneath the heavier thunderstorm, but that'll be the exception. Otherwise, look for temperatures to stay in the 70s for Thursday and Friday. Then warmer weather arrives for the weekend with highs in the mid-80s Saturday. There'll be some thunderstorm chances in there, but the rain chances actually go down for much of next week as the atmosphere starts to heat up. It'll be pretty warm for much of the week.
All right, just in time for school to eventually start.
Yeah, that's on the way.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Jake Kummerow fighting for reps throughout the Packers preseason. We'll have an update on the former Whitewater star next in sports.
Well, it was an early morning for the Badgers football team. Head coach Paul Chryst keeping the guys out there for almost 3 hours of practice today. We're 11 of them into fall camp, and defensive coordinator Jim Leonard liking the progress his guys have made so far. But don't get them wrong, though, they're not in week 1 shape just yet, but the younger players have definitely made strides in understanding the defensive scheme.
I see that with a number of young players who I think at times last year were just playing and playing plays and not really thinking about situations. So anytime you get youth and you gain some experience, you have to find a way to turn that into confidence. If you can't turn it into confidence, you're still just in the same spot. And I see a lot of guys playing with a little bit different edge.
Meanwhile, the wait continues for former wide receiver Quintez Cephas on whether he will rejoin the Badgers. Cephas and his lawyers wanted an answer from the university last Thursday, and they didn't get it. So today, they made what they're calling their final plea to the administration. Several Wisconsin players, including Jonathan Taylor, Chris Orr, Scott Nelson, and Tyler Biotish, joining Cephas today to show their support for their former teammate, saying this is about more than just football.
This is all about Quintez and the man he is, the person he is, wanting to clear his name and wanting him to have the same opportunity, that we have now. But it has nothing to do with either him being a Wisconsin Badger again or him playing football again. It's just about who he is. We love him as a brother, truly, and that carries off the field as well.
The whole time I've had the support of my brothers and everybody who knew me, and I've had a chance to show my real character outside of sports.
The University of Wisconsin did send us a statement in response to today's plea, saying in part, the information provided today by Cephas's attorney is false and that no decision has been made on Cephas's future at the University of Wisconsin at this time. Former Whitewater stud Jake Kummerow gunning for the front of the line when it comes to that number 2 spot behind Devontae Adams. And it could definitely be a reality if he stays healthy and keeps on producing. If he keeps showing out in practice, those reps will come. So head coach Matt LaFleur was asked if Jake's had a bad practice since he's been head coach.
Jake? Oh, no, yeah. No, I love what he brings to the table each and every day. However we practice is probably going to be how we play. So if we play with that kind of energy, that kind of intensity, that urgency, I think we're gonna put a better product on the field.
And finally tonight, peep these kicks over here. The Lake Mills football coaches will be strutting the sideline in style this season. The L-Cats tweeted this picture over the weekend of these custom Zoom Freak ones. Seriously, these are so cool. Those are Giannis's shoe for Nike, by the way. Looking fresh here. All white, love it, with the blue and gold trim and the letters L and M there on the tongue. P.S. Lake Mills, if you need a bench warmer, third string kicker, I can do anything, really. I'd love a pair of shoes. Call me. We'll be right back.
You said peep them kicks?
Peep them kicks. I'm teaching you how to talk
What
like
is
the
that?
kids.
Like the kid-
Like
that's
check
not
out
a
your
cool kid
shoes.
style?
Check out your shoes.
Gary, you gonna peep that?
I'm educating everyone.
Peep that final check of that forecast. Come on,
Go Gary. Go Gary.
Absolutely
Bring
not.
us
Go
back into
Gary.
reality.
A few showers out there, not going to amount to
Come on,
very
Gary.
much. Temperatures right now about 70 degrees and maybe some areas of fog forming. Be aware for that for tonight. Temperatures tomorrow in the 70s on Wednesday. Warmer for next week. No kicks.
Gotta get Gary some new kicks. Thanks for joining us.
Do something good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Now.